video today. I thought I would do a Q&A video because last one nobody left any questions. So please, if you have any questions, post them here on this Q&A video. I did extract 2 questions from my book haul, as I had some interesting questions posted on there, and I thought I would take the opportunity to put them on a Q&A video. So that's what I'm doing today. Please excuse the fact that I'm wearing broken glasses because that's all I have. I will never buy these types of, I love them, but they only last a year. I'm so upset about it. Really, 3 pairs have broken arms on them, so, and they've only lasted me a year. But anyway, on to the Q&A. Let me see if I can perch these on my nose without looking totally ridiculous. But all right, the first question, guys, is from Vita Dunning, and she says, Vita Dunning says, thanks for sharing. I do merchant fulfilled on Amazon, and I'm frustrated by the flow of movement of my listings. Would you mind sharing your early experiences with selling on Amazon, Etsy, and Poshmark? Okay, well, I would be glad to share those experiences with you. Let me just tell you, don't get frustrated. Just keep listing. The more you list, the more you sell. That's such a cliche, but it is so true. I have averaged, I'm not gonna, I know you didn't ask about eBay, but I'm just gonna use eBay really quick as an example. When I first started selling on eBay, almost 10 years ago, I used to list 10 things and I used to sell half of them. I'd list 20, I'd sell half of them, and I don't think I ever got past 20. And then this year, or 2015, 2016, more recently, I was listing maybe 30 and 40 and 50, and pretty average was always 50. And I would sell a few things out of there, definitely not half. I would sell maybe 10. And so I'm just saying that it just seems like, I don't know if the business has changed much. I don't know if there's more in it. I know I used to do a lot of auctions. Auctions used to be great on eBay. That's no longer the case for some things. It's a lot better, I think, for the buyer to have that immediate gratification and buy the thing. And then it's a lot better for the seller because she gets paid immediately too. Now, that's just one thing I can specify about the business itself. I think it does come in ebb and flow instances. I think that's just the way the business is, but do not get frustrated. I will tell you, with Poshmark as well, I listed about 2 or 3 things when I first started about, I don't know, about 5-6 years ago, and I never saw anything get sold. Then about 2 years ago, I sold a Prada leather skirt there. And then I started listing more things. And when I started listing more things, I started selling more things. I think I have 100 things listed on there. It's not as quick as an eBay. The things are a little bit more expensive. It's a niche market. It's a fashion house, so it's a fashion it's a fashion venue, so people go there specifically to look for trends, to look for certain items, hard to find items, obsolete items, collectibles and handbags and all of that. So that's Poshmark. But don't get frustrated. I will say also on Poshmark, and I have a few videos on Poshmark, and I'll try to link them here in this video so you can take a look at them. But Poshmark is really a new beast. You have to kind of know what it's all about, how you're supposed to list, how you can like things and share things, and people will like things and share things of yours in reciprocation there. So that's kind of the way it works there. But it's also vital that you learn to use the offer button, that you learn to accept offers, that you learn not to haggle on the comment section. That's not what that's there for. That's not what it's there for. I mean, a lot of people think it is, but it works to the detriment of the seller, because then the buyers know that you've already haggled down $20 and now you want to still get your original price. So there's a lot of ins and nuances about that, ins and outs and nuances about Poshmark that you need to get to know. And also comparison shop. What are they selling their items for? How can you be competitive? You don't want to give the item away, but you don't want it to sit there and, you know, basically lose its shape. Handbags lose their shape. I can't tell you how many handbags I'm surrounded by. And I go around reducing them because I want to get rid of them and I want to buy more. And, you know, to flip. So you really have to learn to not be attached to your item, to not expect to get half of what you paid for if it's been used for a year. And just, you know, you kind of learn that way. That's with Poshmark. Etsy, the same thing. I will tell you that I did not sell anything on Etsy for a good probably 9 months, maybe even a year before I saw my first sale on Etsy. And I was concentrating primarily on upcycled items, on vintage items. And I got to the point where I was practically pricing them really too low just to get rid of them. But I've kind of gotten my groove on Etsy a little bit. I've gotten some followers. I feel a lot more comfortable in that niche. I know what sells there. I know what people look for there. I know how to price items there. I know that the shipping is not scoffed at as much as it is on eBay. People love their free shipping on eBay. Etsy is not that way. But again, just take your time and keep listing. Do not get frustrated. My daughter started an Etsy shop last year, and she made some beautiful necklaces, got a lot of likes, but did not sell any yet. And I told her to stick to it, but I also kept telling her to tweak the photos, tweak the listing, share the listing. Don't be afraid to learn how to use the to learn how to use Pinterest and Instagram and even your Facebook. Share your items on there. You'd be surprised how many people really appreciate that. I have sold an $800 Louis Vuitton by sharing it on my local Facebook. It wasn't even a Facebook group, so to speak. It's my personal Facebook. But I have a friend who saw it. She liked it. She wanted it for her daughter. I had it on Poshmark. She actually bought it from Poshmark. Long story. But regardless, she found it on my personal Facebook. So don't be afraid to share that way. Don't get frustrated. Again, back to my daughter. She got a little frustrated from selling or trying to sell on Etsy. She hadn't even been there. I don't even think she's been doing it a year. And so she suspended her account. She said we suspended it, but I'm still leaving it in there so that we can put it back on once she gets into the group. But she found another site called Depop. She loved that site. She got immediate gratification. She sold about 3 items the very first day. I think she's already sold about 10 items there, and it's her niche. She likes it. So it's fashion. She buys things for herself, or people buy her things or give her things and she doesn't want them, or we thrift so much. I bring home things that don't always fit, don't always work out, so we're not afraid to stick them on there. And that's one thing that she found that she liked there. Okay, so that was Etsy, Poshmark, and Amazon. Amazon was all books for me. At one time I was a perpetual student, and so I was constantly selling my textbooks. But I've mentioned this before and I'll mention it again because he's a fabulous guy, and he's Picking Profits. He does YouTube videos, and he one day was doing a book haul, and he showed a book that I had in my own personal collection just for my own pleasure. It was called The Good Life, I believe it was called The Good Life. But anyway, he said he sold his for $150, and a light bulb went off in my head. And I am surrounded by books. I have bookshelves. Not even these little children's books are not even for sale. So I'm just a total hoarder when it comes to books and things. And so I saw that video and I thought, I'm not just going to sell my textbooks anymore. I'm going to start looking at my collection and see what I can let go of. For $150, hun, I will sell you, my write-up. No, I won't. But anyway, you know what I mean. For $150, I'm willing to let go of some books. So I sold mine for $135 within a week after listing it. And after that, I started listing all of the books that I had that I thought I could part with. And then I started sourcing. So then I learned about the Amazon seller app, and how you can scan the barcodes, how you can take a picture of the cover, and you can check not only the ranking, but what it sells for. And I'm not concerned with ranking. I'm not an FBA seller, so I'm a merchant fulfilled seller, so that doesn't really interest me that way. There's a lot of other people, including the guy that I just mentioned to you, FBA. He does FBA, Fulfilled by Amazon, and so he knows all about ranking and all about that kind of stuff. Watch his videos as well. But I don't. I just do merchant fulfilled, and that's how I started selling things like valuable books on Amazon. But then I also saw that I could sell other things like mugs, stamps, patterns, just anything that you think is obsolete, it will sell on there. Or that you think is sought after. I mean, it's what they call a long tail market in many respects, because it may not sell right away, but someone is going to buy it for a good price because they're looking for it. And that can be anything from one of our favorite hairsprays that is no longer made. You know, there's this hairspray that I love and I can't find it anywhere, so I go to Amazon to get it. I pay probably 3 times what it's worth, but it's worth that to me because that's where I'm going to find it. So that's the thing about Amazon that I know. It's really strange, but a lot of people are talking this month about slow sales. My sales have been through the roof this month. You just never know. Again, all I can say is keep listing, keep looking for quality items. Make sure that you're looking at things that are worth bringing home. A lot of times, and I'm guilty of it, I bring home things that I'm like, oh, well, now I realize this market's saturated. Don't pick it up unless it's at a garage sale for 25 cents, okay? So that's all I can say really about that. Is that all you asked me about? Oh, these glasses are so frustrating. Yeah. Etsy and Poshmark. So that's it, guys, as far as that question. So let me know if I answered your question to your satisfaction. If not, please post another question. Do it here on this video so I can find it quickly and I can do another Q&A. I really enjoy the Q&A videos and I hope you do as well. So please post more questions. I do have one other question from Heather. Says, Thelma, is it true that the seller can ungate categories if they do so merchant fulfilled? I'm thinking of specifically CDs, vinyl, or vintage magazines, as you spoke of here. Also, let me ask you about a microphone. I find it difficult to hear me. That's another question and another feedback that I constantly get. I am learning to adjust the volume on my edit. So when I put it up on iMovie, I'm going to adjust the volume that way. I still haven't invested in a microphone. I know I need to, and I would really like to do that, but I haven't done it yet. All right. But as far as merchant fulfilled and ungated, yes, I did hear actually just recently, I think it was Jay and Nay talking about a slew of CDs and cassettes that he found, and he was saying that he was going to do them merchant fulfilled because he wouldn't have to ungate them. Again, I don't do FBA, so I can only speak from what I hear on other videos, and that's what I have heard. I sell magazines, I sell CDs, I sell DVDs, I sell obsolete media on Amazon merchant fulfilled. I don't have to ungate because I'm not an FBA seller. So that's the only thing I know. The only time I run into restrictions is like there are certain computer accessories or things like that. When I'll scan them, it will say restricted, and then I'll look at it and it'll say you have to sell it. So you have to only sell that item brand new. So that kind of stuff I do run into. But yes, it is true, you can sell obsolete media like CDs, vinyl, magazines. I had to redo this last part of the video because it stopped recording. So just to recap what we just talked about, I was questioned about the beginning seller in some of those venues. And again, just do not get frustrated. Just keep listing. Keep looking at your photographs. I didn't mention that in the first time I answered your question, but keep looking at your pictures. They can always be improved. Make sure you don't have anything cluttered. Don't take a picture of, you know, a piece of jewelry in front of a bookshelf where you're not even going to be able to see it. Make sure you take close-ups. Make sure you take a picture of the back, the front. If you can, do it with a ruler or a measuring tape for clothing. So just always anticipate the questions. If you were buying an item, what would you want to know about that item? What do you know specifically about that item that you need to disclose? If there's any flaws, disclose those as well. If there are flaws, discount accordingly. And so yeah, that's pretty much it, guys, as far as what I was talking about earlier, those 2 questions that I got. Please post more questions here. I'll be glad to share any knowledge that I may have on anything that you ask. And again, if you have any input, if you can add to what I answered, please do. This is a great forum to give and take and to learn from each other, and that's exactly what I would want to do with this type of forum. So please let that happen, and please post more questions. If I didn't answer your question completely, to those of you who asked me 2 questions on my book haul, please ask me more. I am more than happy to address them. And thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Have a great one. Bye.